Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Reddy.S, currently pursuing first year computer science engineering. Today my presentation will be on the topic applications of Newton's law of cooling, understanding heat transfer in real world scenarios. So do watch the video till the very end and do like the video. Now let's get started with the presentation. Real-world applications of Newton's law of cooling. These are the topics which we are going to cover in today's presentation. 6 examples of Newton's law of cooling in real life. Forensic science, chilled soda can, cooling down of hot beverages, hot and cold liquid kept at ambient temperature, measuring temperature of a heated metal, and melting of ice cream. Now, what is Newton's law of cooling? Newton's law of cooling is the rate of change of temperature of an object is proportional to its own temperature and the ambient temperature. Now, Newton's law of cooling. This is the formula of Newton's law of cooling, where T is the temperature at time t, T0 is the initial temperature, TENV is the ambient temperature, and K is the cooling constant. The application of Newton's law of cooling in forensic science. One of the major applications of Newton's law of cooling can be easily seen in forensic science. The detectives and forensic scientists note down the temperature of the dead body and the room temperature of the crime scene. The temperature values are put in the mathematical formula derived by Newton's law of cooling, and the time of the victim's death can be effectively calculated. Chilled soda can. When we store a soda can in the refrigerator, it gets chilled. The temperature of the can and the surroundings is well known and recorded. Hence, by substituting the values of mathematical form of Newton's law of cooling, the rate at which the room temperature is achieved by the soda can easily be determined. Cooling down of hot beverages. Newton's law of cooling. The time taken by a hot beverage to cool down is easy to calculate with the help of Newton's law of cooling. It must be observed that a hot beverage cools down quickly during the first few minutes of exposure to room temperature. This is because at the particular instant, the difference between temperature of the beverage and the environment is significantly large. Hence, the time of cooling is proportional to it. Hot and cold liquid kept at ambient temperature. Newton's laws of cooling is also helpful in determining the rate at which the liquid reaches ambient temperature. When a hot liquid and a cold liquid beverage is subjected to room temperature, it can be easily observed that the hot drink attains room temperature quickly. This is because of Newton's law of cooling. The difference between the temperature and the surrounding the drink is proportional to the time taken by it acquire room temperature. Measuring temperature of a heated metal. Consider that a blacksmith heats a piece of metal to a considerably high temperature. When he attempts to note down the temperature of the heated metal, he finds that the measuring device or the thermometer is not capable of displaying such high temperature values. Therefore, in such cases, the blacksmith can employ Newton's law of cooling to measure the time taken for the metal to cool down, thereby estimating the original temperature of the block of metal. Now, the last one, melting of ice cream. When ice cream is taken out of the freezer, it begins to melt down. The time required to melt the ice cream cannot be calculated without applying Newton's law of cooling. Provided that the difference between the temperature of the ice cream and the temperature of the surrounding is known, the rate at which it melts down can be easily calculated. This helps the ice cream vendors and distributors to calculate the adequate temperature and properly arrange the storing facilities for their product. Here are some more applications of Newton's law of cooling in real life. Newton's law of cooling is used to predict how long it will take for a hot object to cool down at certain temperature. It also helps to indicate the dead time given by the probable body temperature at the dead time and the current body temperature. Coming to the conclusion, Newton's law of cooling has many applications in real life, as I mentioned in this presentation. Not only the examples I mentioned, but there are many applications of Newton's law of cooling in real life. Hope you guys found this presentation informative. Do like the video, and thank you for watching the video.